This is Mike Jones, and I'd like to give my opinion as a former FedEx contractor for 34 years in the Charlotte, North Carolina area, and give you my opinion about FedEx's security and FedEx's way of doing business. A lot of people have criticized the fact that FedEx makes the package handlers put their cell phones in a locker before they come into the facility. Well, cell phones are a security risk in themselves, and there's a reason behind that. I mean, someone could take a cell phone picture of a package, and then sort of pre-track that package to maybe a nefarious situation. Maybe they would want to steal that package, or maybe they want to tell someone else about that package. It would breach the security of the of the recipient of the package. So there's several reasons like that, and also it's a security and it's a risk physically to be having a phone out on the beltway where they're doing the packages and everything, because those packages are coming through there at a very high rate of speed, and these packages have to be loaded at a very high rate of speed. They're going in there fast. They're conveyored into the trailers. There's conveyors built in the trailers, so they continually slide, and they're double floor, double stacked. And these people have a methodical system that they have to do to load these packages. And they don't need the distraction of a cell phone on the people that are working the freight. Now, I know this firsthand because I used to work freight when I was a young man. I started working freight at a company. It was LTL, but it was a Carolina Freight. Now, of course, cell phones when I was young was not even a thing. We didn't have cell phones back then, but they would have been shunned upon if we were trying to carry on with cell phones and then stop and text message somebody, or stop and take a phone call and things like that. We can't have the distractions when you're doing a labor-intensive situation. When you're in a labor-intensive situation like that, one that requires all of your attention to do it right. I mean, with LTL, you could get run over with a tow motor. With package vans like the FedEx Ground, they could get hit by packages coming across the beltway. They could get, just by not doing their job right, by not, putting those packages and stacking those packages right, they could hurt themselves and hurt somebody else. So it's a safety thing. It's a safety thing to keep people from being distracted, because when you're doing something at that pace, you can't afford to be distracted. And like I said, also it's a security thing too, because of the tight packages going across the belt and going into the trucks and trailers and the package vans. I mean, you could be a distraction if you were loading a package van and that package van was going out somewhere locally, that you basically send information nefariously out to maybe someone else that could pick up that package or something like that. I mean, not to say that people do that, and people could memorize, I guess, if they were so prone to do that. But if you had a picture of it, you would have everything right at your hand. And I know that that's one of the reasons they probably don't let them take pictures or take phones in there so pictures could be taken or scanned or all kind of things, because there's a lot of information that's given on barcodes. And these barcodes, they have a lot of apps out there right now, and you could probably get a app that would tell you too much information about what's on the barcode. So that's probably one of the reasons I think, and I've been around, like I said, 34 years. I just recently sold my FedEx Ground business, and we sold it back in October of 2020 and completed it in February of 2021. So we're completely out of the FedEx business as of 2021. But I had a good 34-year career with FedEx, and well, it was RPS first, and then they bought out, FedEx bought out RPS back in the 90s. So I put a good many years, most of my life's work has been at FedEx. It has been a very good source of income for me and my wife and family, and I have nothing but good things to say about FedEx. Now, that being said, they're probably going to beef up the security now that that's two facilities, that this one and then one in Georgia about 4 or 5 years ago, that a former employee breached the security there and came in and shot some people. Didn't kill anyone other than himself. I think he was the only one killed. But, I know measures will probably be taken. I think measures were taken after that breach. I know they do a lot of things that people don't realize that they do, and they're very stringent on making sure that security and safety is the utmost. We had a lot of procedures as a line haul driver contractor. There was a lot of procedures that we had to make sure that we did 100% right. If not, they would take you out of the system. They would take, I had drivers that were dismissed because they didn't follow safety procedures. One, hooking our chains right, making sure that the trucks and trailers were hooked up right. You have to do a lot of procedures 100% right. And if you don't fight for perfection, they didn't want you as a driver or a contractor. So it's a very tough place to work. You have to be good. Now, what this young man did is inexcusable, and it has more to do, I think, with his mental health than anything. I was told that, as the news reports come in, it stated that, let's see, his name is Brendan Hull. I believe that's right. Let me see if that's right. Yeah, Brandon Hull, and he was employed by FedEx back in 2020. Now, they said that he had mental issues, and his father actually committed suicide a couple of years ago. So, and one of the family members I saw that was interviewed said that there was mental health problems in their family, and that the FBI had been called out to investigate him. They didn't find anything at the time. I mean, things like that happen, but you're not going to stop every person with a mental issue. Now, mental health is tough out there right now, and a lot of people are suffering from this. But you can't blame FedEx with their policies. And like I said, their policies will probably get tighter rather than loose. I mean, I don't think they're going to loosen up and say you can carry your cell phone into the facilities. It's just not. It's not feasible. It's not safe. They may put more. They may put more people in place with cell phones that are managers, and put more managers in a situation so they can monitor things like that. And they may put more cameras up, and they may, and I think they'll probably, entrance into the facility will probably get tighter. I mean, it's pretty tight already. I mean, you have to have, a FedEx badge. You have to have, they go through metal detectors and everything like that. There are not armed security out there. That is the one downfall with somebody coming in with a gun. There is no way to defend yourself. So I don't know if facilities could ever get armed people, armed police. I guess they would have to work with the regular law enforcement to be able to get armed police out there. I know that some places do have that. I mean, I know I have friends that work in law enforcement in this area, and they work in movie theaters and other locations like that as an off-duty policeman. And it may come to that point whereas FedEx may have to hire off-duty policemen that are armed and can defend against something like this. I know that would probably be tough. That would be expensive, but it may be the thing of the future that they would have to hire off-duty policemen to man the facility 24 hours a day. They use security. They use a security company, but these security companies are not armed people. So in order to change that, they may have to change their policy and hire off-duty policemen around the clock. So, or at least, well, I sort of say at least when people are there, but now that FedEx is a 7-day-a-week, 24-hour-a-day facility in most locations, these things will probably come to fruition, especially at the large facilities like this at hubs, because both of these breaches were at large hubs. But FedEx has a way of getting security into even the small locations too. Most of them have, you have to have a badge, you have to be gated to even open the gate to pull a tractor trailer in. You can't just arbitrarily come up to a location and drive a car in. So they are secure as much as we can be secure in today's society. I mean, today's society is tough. I mean, we are getting more and more people that are on the fringe that are doing crazy things, and back to the mental health issues. So it's going to be hard, and I would think that one of the things they probably are going to have to be a little more stringent on is mental health, doing a mental health background, or at least a test of some description to make sure that the employees are mentally fit. Now that again also would be very expensive, but it's something that probably would need to happen. But FedEx is, like I said, is a good company, and a lot of people I think are misrepresenting what they're doing. But FedEx does an excellent job as far as their drivers, and the drivers and we're talking about cell phones again. All the drivers have to check in and out, the line haul drivers, with an app. They check in, they dispatch, they do everything with an app. They do partly that. They started this during COVID. During the 2020, they implemented these new apps, and they make sure that they can keep people at a certain distance from everyone. And so we have or they have a more or less, it's a wireless communication dispatch system. So they're dispatched, approved, and make sure that everything works right before they check out as they move the freight. So they are doing everything that you can think of just about with technology and doing it right. But anytime that you got an open system that people can get in and out of, it's going to be tough to police every single person that goes in and out. Now they do I think a good job, and it's aggravating in some ways to get in and out. If you're a regular employee, it's aggravating. This young man, this Brandon Hull, evidently knew the system good enough to what he could do and how he could storm in and storm out. I don't know if he killed the people he thought he was going to kill. I don't know if he just decided that killing anybody or everybody that would suit him. He definitely had some mental problems, and definitely uh, was the exception and not the rule of the FedEx employees. But they used to, you used to hear people talking years ago about a person going postal because of the stress of postal workers. Well, there's a lot of stress with postal workers, UPS, FedEx, and Amazon. We're in a day and time now where everyone wants their packages tomorrow. And FedEx, Amazon, UPS, the Postal Service are trying their best to accommodate people, especially in this COVID lockdown situation. And a lot of that has put stress. I know before I retired, before I left, the stress level was up high. It was up high on me. Last year, I actually had a heart attack and quadruple bypass surgery and the doctors say the stress level that I have been putting myself through for the past, 34 years I've been dealing with it, but for the past number of years, past few years, I guess, it had actually taken its toll on my health. And it is a stressful job. There is no doubt about it. It is a rewarding job, but there is a lot of stress involved because we have to, you have to perform at the top levels. In other words, they don't want a slacker. If you're going to be a FedEx contractor, you're not a slacker. You're somebody that's going to work at top-notch. You're going to work as a top-notch contractor or a top-notch employee. So you don't do slack things. We have to make sure that we have very good drivers, the safest drivers we can hire. We have to maintain a very safe driving record as contractors. And if not, if you don't meet those expectations, then you're not rewarded by being able to bid on things, and you could lose your contract if you don't adhere to all the safety regulations. FedEx, another thing, and I know I've explained this in some of my other videos that I have, FedEx requires their trucks to be the safest possible too. We have to have all new trucks put on at FedEx, have to have the forward collision system and the lane departure system built into the trucks. So if your truck is drifting one side or the other, the driver is alerted. If you're coming up on someone that stopped too quickly in your lane, you've got the collision avoidance system, which will automatically stop the truck if the driver doesn't catch it. And then they also have a camera system where they're monitoring the outside and the inside of the truck. So all of these procedures are some of the things that FedEx has done, especially within the last 10 years. And they have been very stringent on trying to be the safest company that they possibly can be. So it's not a company that is not trying to see innovation to the max. They do like innovation, and they do try their best to adhere to everything that you can think of. So all these reports, a lot of these reports coming out, some of them, like I said, they were sort of bad-mouthing FedEx for the cell phone situation, and that actually was a safety thing. That's a safety thing, and I applaud FedEx for doing that, because you don't want people loading freight and being in a dangerous situation. Now, like I said, they may have to change the way they have more reporting stations or more situations where more managers can call in or notify things, and they probably will have to change more of the gate procedures getting in and out of FedEx. I know it's tight now, but it's probably going to be even tighter. And they may have to, at large facilities, may have to go to off-duty policemen. So, these are some of the things that probably will come to pass at FedEx. But this is Mike Jones. I'm a 34-year veteran of RPS and FedEx, and I just thought I would give my opinion of what goes on with a FedEx facility as a line haul contractor. And and initially when I first started, I was actually a package van contractor too. So I have been on both aisles. I've been on both ends of that. And I used to deliver when I very initially started with them. For about 6 months, I did package van. So I have the experience of the package van, and I know the stress and everything from that. And then the majority of my time was spent as a FedEx line haul contractor. So that's my opinion, and I hope you can enjoy my opinion, and hopefully people won't be jumping to conclusions about FedEx. FedEx is a good company. So that's my opinion, and I hope you like it all right.